The year 2023 was a good year for German-British relations, at least according our traffic light government. In September 23, closer German-British cooperation in the area of hydrogen was agreed. At the beginning of November 23, Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck traveled to London and signed a framework agreement in the area of energy and climate together with the British Energy Minister. Although the conclusion of the trade and cooperation agreement between the European Union and the United Kingdom, which came into force on January 1st in 2021, was initially seen as a signal of departure for deeper German-British cooperation, this developed less dynamically in 21 and 22 than expected. This was mainly due to the strained relations between the European Union and the United Kingdom. The ongoing turbulence surrounding the implementation of the withdrawal agreement, and particularly the Northern Ireland Protocol, prevented the full exploitation of the cooperation opportunities between the EU and the UK set out in the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. They also stood in the way of deepening bilateral German-British relations. With the agreement on the so-called Windsor framework in February 2023, with which the British government committed itself to the European Union to fully implement the withdrawal agreement and at the same time granted the United Kingdom some relief, the path was also paved for a further expansion of the German-British relationships. On February 27 and 23, the European Commission and the British government agreed on this so-called Windsor framework for the implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. In previous years, there had been discussions about the fact that the British government had not implemented the provisions of the withdrawal agreement on the special status of Northern Ireland, and in particular, the obligation to carry out customs checks in the Irish Sea. The checks were agreed between the European Union and the United Kingdom in order to avoid the politically unfeasible establishment of a customs border on the island of Ireland as a result of the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the EU internal market. With the Windsor framework, the British government has kind of recommitted to respecting the provisions of the withdrawal agreement. In return, certain facilitations were agreed, especially in the area of customs, sanitary and phytosanitary controls and animal health, as well as increased involvement of Northern Irish institutions and civil society. Implementation will take place in stages until the end of 2027. Facilitations will be introduced gradually, provided the United Kingdom provides the agreed guarantees. A first stage of relief, the elimination of the obligation for certain economic actors to pay customs duties, was released by the European Commission on October 1st in 2023. The next stage is currently scheduled for October 2024. The Windsor framework, and with it the recognition of the UK's full implementation of the withdrawal agreement, have laid the foundation for more intensive bilateral cooperation as well. The German Ministry of Economics and the British government seized the resulting opportunity directly. The energy sector is particularly promising for increased German-British cooperation. Both countries face similar challenges. Cooperation with the United Kingdom is of particular interest to Germany due to the potential and experience available there in the field of offshore wind energy. The United Kingdom is pursuing ambitious expansion goals of up to 50 gigawatts by 2030, and several interconnectors are under construction or are being planned. Future hybrid cooperation projects with the United Kingdom that connect offshore wind farms with interconnectors are also promising. The United Kingdom also plans to become an exporter of green hydrogen in the future and is interested in cooperation in the area of carbon capture and utilization, or carbon capture and storage. That means the capture and subsequent further use or storage of carbon dioxide. Responsibility lies in the area of energy policy, unlike, for example, in trade policy, largely with the member states, not with the European Union. and the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, which sets the framework for bilateral cooperation, leaves room for bilateral design. Against this background, two important agreements have been concluded with the British government in recent months. On September 26th, the German Ministry and the State Secretary Philip Nimmermann and the responsible State Secretary of the British Ministry for Energy Security and Climate Neutrality, Lord Callanan, signed a joint declaration of intent for in-depth cooperation in the field of hydrogen. It was agreed, among other things, an exchange on legal framework conditions, cooperation in research and innovation, and the promotion of trading opportunities. As a start to the in-depth cooperation, a hydrogen conference took place in Berlin on September 26th, the focus of which was the development of the hydrogen infrastructure in Europe, and in particular between Germany and the United Kingdom, as well as an initial inventory of the hydrogen industry in both countries. On November 2nd and 3rd, Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck traveled to London and, together with the British Minister for Energy Security and Climate Neutrality, Claire Coutinho, signed a framework agreement for German-British cooperation in the areas of energy and climate. In addition to the cooperation in the area of hydrogen, that was already agreed in September, further topics have been identified on which they wanted to discuss with each other in more depth. These are the areas of renewable energies, CCUS, energy security, and green transformation and net zero technologies. The focal points of cooperation in the individual areas should be specified in an annually agreed work program. Through the cooperation, both countries intend to strengthen their energy resilience and provide safe, sustainable, and affordable clean energy, primarily from renewable sources, to energy consumers in both countries, and support industrial and regional development and reduce all greenhouse gas emissions by 2045 at the latest in Germany or 2050 in the United Kingdom to achieve climate neutrality. So they say that 23 was a good year for bilateral German-British relations and gave them a new dynamic, and there would be potential for further expansion of bilateral cooperation. If the good relations between the European Union and the United Kingdom continue to develop, other areas of intensified German-British cooperation could follow in addition to energy policy. And if you want to know more, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.